Hey there, guys. So I want to welcome you back again to the latest live stream. Of course, we're going to be talking about fitness over 30 for gay men, but before I do get started with this discussion, I do want to share my website. Again, it's bponlinefitness.com. You can check out a ton of information on here related to online fitness coaching, and everything on here is exactly the same as you see of course, on mobile. So it's all going to be the same content. It's just going to be structured a little bit differently. But this is all of what's on my homepage. You can see the latest live stream that I do here on Facebook. I usually upload it every Wednesday. There's also a button here for you to join the group, and this is actually my Facebook group that you can join in on. I actually have 1,000 people in there now, so definitely check that out. Another thing too is that you can also check out my email newsletter here. I do have some of the latest posts on my Instagram that show up here. And then, of course, I do have ways where you can, of course, look at videos. I have my fitness blog that I upload to every Friday. I also have client testimonies here and program info. You can go through basically the structure of how my program works. And then, of course, if you do want to schedule a free consultation, you just click the join the team button. It's going to show up the same way as it is here on mobile. So you just click that button at the top and you go through and you answer the questions that are on screen, and I'll contact you, of course, within 24 hours to schedule your consultation. So definitely make use of that if that's something that you're interested in doing. But I did want to share that with you guys before I did officially get started here. So, of course, our topic for the day is going to be, again, fitness for men over 30. And like I've mentioned in many of my other streams, my main focus again is really emphasizing, individuals who feel a little bit left behind when it comes to getting started with a fitness journey, especially with gay men, that there's not really, a specific set of basically like resources that you can go to. And again, that's been my focus over these past few months, is to make that an emphasis and really, again, hone in on that. And I want to be, again, the reason why I've focused for men over 30 is because I feel like it's the demographic that oftentimes gets left out. And I'm 31 years old now. So I am in the demographic itself. But it's something as I've researched and as I really have gotten into fitness itself, I feel like this is a group that is just oftentimes not really talked about. And we always talk about the really younger guys and gaining muscle, but a lot of times we focus too much on youth, I feel like. I think that's a big thing in society overall. It's not just fitness itself, it's overall every part of society we do emphasize youth a lot. And so I just think that this is important to really hone in on and understand that no matter where you're at in your journey, progress can still happen. It's just how you approach things and how strategic you are with it is how that progress is going to sort of manifest. So let's go ahead and get going here and, of course, go over a few points to really break down and discuss as we're going through this stream. So these are all of the points that we're going to discuss here today. There's basically 6 points here that we're going to break down. We're going to talk about excuse me, guys. I still kind of have a cough, so you'll have to bear with me, but it's not as bad as it was last week. So we're going to go over rebuilding your relationship with fitness after 30, body image in the gay community, muscle over 30, and why it's still 100% possible and what changes, fitness and identity, and becoming someone who takes care of himself, sustainable fat loss for gay men over 30 without obsession, in the confidence effect, on how strength training changes more than your body. So these are all of the topics that we're going to be breaking down today. Another thing I will say before I go into the entirety of the stream, I do want to share with you guys that I have been able to be monetized on YouTube. Um, I just want to share this really quick. I am monetized now, so if you do want to support me in any way, you'll likely see buttons like for supers and giving gifts. So if you do want to do that, that's up to you. I'm not pressuring anybody to give to the channel necessarily, but I do want to continue to grow the channel, and I'm going to continue to give you guys content as often as I can. So if you do want to support me, there are ways. You'll see in the chat that there is an option, of course, where you can show your support, and then it's like a dollar, sort of a dollar sign on there. If you do want to, that's fine. But I did want to share that I am monetized now and can, of course, there are ways that you can support the channel, in other words, and I did want to share that. But I don't want anybody to feel pressured to try to, send, share, or do any of this, the thanks and all that, or the gifts. If you want to do that, that's fine, but I just wanted to let you know that those options are there if you do want to support the channel. So let's go ahead and get started here. So the first point we're going to go over is rebuilding your relationship with fitness after 30. So if you're somebody who is, just returning back into fitness, it can be very difficult to return back into that structure and again feel comfortable with yourself as you're trying to build this structure again with fitness. So again, this focus is of course on gay men, but it is not only the experience of being a gay man, but it's also the experience of getting older. So you have those two different concepts that are very hard, and you're trying to overcome them. So again, I know this all too much, as I've gotten older, I've noticed how different I do view things versus when I was younger, and how much life continues to evolve and grow. Again, Michael, I do want to thank you for joining. I really appreciate the chat there. I did want to mention that. But like I was talking about here, is that after 30, of course, our body does continue to change. As we age, it's natural that our body's going to change in multiple different ways. So, recovery becomes more important than endless intensity. So, one thing that I always mention a lot of times is that if you've watched any of my other streams where I break down fitness in particular, of course, we're still talking about fitness here, but we're specifically talking about, overcoming these obstacles that come with age and having the resources to use. So recovery is extremely important as we are continuing to age. And what that means is that we have to make sure that we prioritize our, of course, sleep, or how hydrated we stay, as well as really changing our nutrition. Really getting a grasp on our nutrition is a big thing. And becoming aware of nutrition more is going to, again, help with that recovery. Recovery all depends on what you do outside of workouts. That's basically what it means when we're talking about recovery, is how we approach what we do post workout. So, stress, sleep, and lifestyle impact results more than before. So, one thing you're going to notice as you age is that there are certain things that become harder that you wouldn't have expected before. Your sleep and your stress, and again your lifestyle impact, which could be a combination of different things. This can be, of course, like I mentioned with your recovery side, your nutrition, your hydration, but this can also go into maybe negative habits, whether that be any habits that you have, such as, if you drink alcohol or if you smoke. these different habits and these, sort of impact how you progress when it comes to your fitness. And also, it does have an impact on your health at the same time. Now, you just have to be aware that the way you recover is not going to happen as quickly. Again, I guess if anybody who is older, they know that automatically. But what matters more, again, as we're continuing on, is that consistency and showing up is really what's going to make the difference. Your consistency is how you actually get the results. And this is something that I think a lot of people really, this is the biggest thing that a lot of people have to get a grasp on. And I noticed this many times when I talk to people who are maybe interested in online coaching, or I'm just talking with them and sort of discussing their goals. One thing I hear all the time is that everybody wants to rely on motivation. They want to rely on how they feel, their emotions. Yes, those emotions and that motivation may get you to a workout. It may motivate you to go into a workout, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to translate to you consistently doing that. So, what you have to rely on is not your motivation to do it. I hear this all the time. A lot of people want to rely on motivation, but motivation is not going to take you far. It's how willing you are to be consistent, to be disciplined, and to continue to show up in your routine. And again, this is all about your mindset. Your mindset is what's going to really change this. When you approach workouts with the intention of, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to just go in and doing this no matter how that I feel, no matter what, if I'm having a bad day or whatever. I still need to go in here and do this. And this is something that I do myself. I still have moments where I do not want to do my workouts. I do not want to go through it. I'm just ready to get out of the gym. I have those moments, even though I'm a trainer. And even though I am very passionate about what I do, I still have times where I do not want to be in the gym, where I just would rather do something else. Even though, again, it's natural. It's going to happen to everybody. When you do something so consistently, it's going to naturally happen that way to where you kind of get tired of it. But it's okay to have that feeling, but it's not okay when you let it be a hindrance and let it control your progress, because you're going to think yourself that you kept pushing through. You're going to see a drastic difference in results when you push through that mindset. So, again, sustainability becomes the real goal. It's about creating a sustainable routine, like I've mentioned before, in to work around your overall existing life. It's got to be able to work around your life for it to be sustainable and for you to get the results. So, signs your relationship with fitness needs rebuilding. So, you only train out of guilt. You tie your self worth to appearance. And, like what I've mentioned before, fitness should not be tied completely to your appearance. It's great to have that mindset to where you want to look better. That's a great, you know, mindset to have. But at the same time, it has to be something, there has to be more of an internalized reason on why you're doing it, whether that be health reasons or whether that be, again, being able to, of course, have a, because not only is there physical benefits, of course, that comes with fitness, but there is also mental benefits. So don't necessarily tie your overall self-worth to your appearance. Think again of fitness as a way to improve other aspects of your life. One thing that I always mention to, some potential clients that I talk to, as well as even my existing clients, is that when it comes to fitness, what I think is very encouraging to think about is that fitness basically becomes a quote unquote gateway drug to better habits. So the more that you include, building a consistent routine and really making this routine a part of your daily life, the more it makes you want to improve other aspects of your life, whether that be your nutrition, whether that be your sleep, whether that be your habits. Like it drastically changes the way that you see everything else that you do in your life that may be a hindrance to your overall health. And so that's the way that I like to see, fitness is that it does when you get started and when it becomes more of a passion and you build that consistency, it does become this sort of gateway drug to those better habits. So you can constantly compare yourself to others. This is a common thing that happens when you need to sort of rebuild that relationship with fitness. And this is one thing that I've mentioned time and time again is that our journey is always going to be unique to us. Where we're at is never going to be identical to somebody else's. It's always going to be unique. So we have to focus on where we're at in the current moment and see this as this is where I'm at. This is where I want to be. I want to progress from here. That's how you have to see it. You swing between extreme motivation and burnout. Again, going back to the concept of it, motivation and consistency. Your motivation is always temporary. It's going to be temporary. So you never can rely on it. It is about the discipline, it's about the consistency that's going to keep you going. So you view rest days as failure instead of recovery. So rest days is a big thing too to keep in mind. And this is something that I may discuss further on how you should approach rest days, maybe in a future stream where I focus primarily on fitness, but rest days should be seen as still an extension of your routine. The way you approach rest days is just about staying lightly active. It's about, again, it's an extension of what your recovery would be even on your workout days. So you're basically taking care of yourself. You're focusing on having good sleep. You're still focusing on your nutrition, aligning with your workouts, and at the same time you're taking care of yourself. Don't see rest days as a failure, see them as an extension of your routine. So again, that recovery is what's going to help you progress further anyways in your routine. So the next point I want to go over here is on body image in the gay community. So obviously we all know this. We all pretty much know that this is a big thing. And this is one thing, even just with appearance, it's one thing that's always bothered me. And I've always been somebody who has really, again, I'm confident in myself, but I never let my appearance take over my personality. There are some people that do let their appearance take over their personality. But to me, it's great to look good. It's totally fine to look good, but it should not be about putting down others just to make yourself look higher. And again, that's why a lot of times you'll see, or sometimes I do post content where I'm confident in myself, but a lot of times I make the information more the focus than me. And again, that's the way that I have been approaching coaching. And since I've become a trainer, that's become a big part of me is that again, I see all kinds of guys on Instagram and all kinds of guys on TikTok and I see this constant repetitive, and again, it's okay for them to share the content that they share. But a lot of times there is this aspect where you have to, like, it's just all about showing off. There's no substance, if that makes sense. There's no particular substance behind what's being shared. It is just about showing off what you have. And that's not the way that I like to approach it. And I just think fitness has become really unapproachable to a lot of people because it becomes intimidating because you have all of these different guys that are online and you don't know how to approach them. They're not approachable in a lot of ways. So again, and not only that, when you're just talking about regular fitness coaches, but then when you put that into the concept of, being a part of the gay community, it becomes even harder because we do emphasize a lot on image. So, again, we're continuing on here, we're talking about body image. So, constant comparison is going to create pressure to look perfect instead of focusing on your health and sustainability. Like I mentioned, do not make your workouts completely about you trying to look better. You should have more internal sort of benefits and more internal goals that you're trying to achieve. And really think about that. There's a lot of benefits that come with workouts outside of appearance. There are a ton. Appearance is just a side effect or, an extension of those results. When you think about it, your energy improves. Again, your ability to do things that you couldn't do before, your, like I said, your energy, like your strength improves. You have all of these different things that are going to improve outside of your workout routine. Again, guys, I do appreciate you guys all taking the time in the chat to join. I really do appreciate it. But again, think outside of the appearance, what you are going to benefit from your workout routine. Social media often highlights extremes, making normal progress feel not enough. So a lot of times when we look at social media, progress seems like it is like people seem to like get progress instantly. You're just seeing these highlight reels and it's not really how it takes, the effort that it takes. With my routine and getting to the results that I'm at now has taken years. It has taken years. And I still am not fully where I would like to be. Like, I would still like to make more progress, but it takes time. This is not something that can happen, when it comes to exercise. It is something that does take time to really accomplish. So, fitness should improve your confidence, energy, and quality of life and not become a punishment. Again, it should be an extension of how you approach your daily life. It should be a part of your daily life like anything else that you do in your normal routine. So, chasing validation through appearance alone can lead to burnout, anxiety, and unhealthy habits. So, again, don't try to chase the validation from others when you're going into a fitness routine. Focus on, again, finding that validation in yourself, seeking out how you're, again, looking at more of the internal benefits that you're going to receive from your routine. Muscle growth, fat loss, and confidence all take time. Like what I just mentioned, it does take time to get those results. So your body is not behind. Again, don't feel like you're behind, even though you may not be at the same level as somebody else. Focus on taking your time and again, seeing each step, each day as another step towards progress and towards where you want to be. So, muscle over 30 and why it's 100% possible and what changes. So, muscle tissue is still going to adapt to resistance training after 30. Even as you get older, it is still possible to gain muscle. Progressive overload is still going to work the same at every age. Progressive overload, again, is the concept of gradual increase in intensity in your workouts. And this is something that I've discussed. I just touched on this yesterday. So if you haven't, check out yesterday's stream that I did, um, where I talked a little bit. It was about dropping the weight. So definitely check that out. That was yesterday's video that I uploaded, and I talked a lot about progressive overload in that. So again, consistency matters more than chasing perfection. So your body is still going to adapt to the resistance training even after 30. And even as we age, it continues to. The thing is it does take a little bit longer. Normally, if we're older than when we're younger, but that's okay. As long as you're willing to stay consistent with it, results do add up. So again, recovery becomes important. So your resistance training is going to happen. Your muscle tissue is still going to be able to adapt to resistance training. But recovery is going to become a little bit more important to keep in mind as well. So sleep quality matters more than ever. Your recovery is where muscle growth actually happens, and stress management affects recovery hormone balance. So, again, like testosterone and things like that, when you manage your stress a little bit better, it does help with that hormone regulation in the body. Nutrition matters more as well than just the random workouts. Protein becomes even more important after 30 because our body is going to need enough nutrients to be able to grow. And so you do need to prioritize more protein in your diet. Muscle growth requires enough calories and recovery nutrients, and hydration affects strength pumps and workout performance. Hydration is a big thing, making sure that you're drinking enough water throughout the day, that you're keeping your body hydrated is a very crucial thing to keep in mind. So again, really, your training is not necessarily going to change as much. It's more on how you approach your recovery and your nutrition that you have to really hone in on for progress. So just keep that in mind. So fitness and identity and becoming someone who takes care of himself. So this is again an extension of what I've been discussing in this stream is that we should always see fitness beyond the concept of appearance. So, real transformation starts with identity and not just your motivation. Fitness becomes sustainable and it becomes a way to get towards progress when self care turns into a lifestyle instead of a temporary phase. Again, your fitness routine, in order for progress to happen and in order for it to be sustainable, it has to be a part of your daily life. It has to be something that's an extension to your life. So, every workout, meal, and recovery choice reinforces that type of person you're becoming. So, see those choices as again, a vote towards yourself and who you're becoming in the future. So, discipline is not punishment, it is a self respect in action, or excuse me, it is self respect in action. So, that discipline, like I mentioned previously, that consistency is all going to translate to rewards in the future. Those rewards, again, won't happen, you know, like in a week or so. They will take time to add up, but those choices that you're making into being disciplined and consistent are going to be a vote towards your future self. Taking care of yourself physically often improves confidence, mental clarity, and emotional resilience. So, like what I mentioned previously, when you take your fitness seriously and you see those benefits outside of just the physical, it changes your perspective. Like I said, that's where that concept of fitness being a gateway drug to better habits, you start to notice all of those changes. Your mindset changes, as well as your ability to do things you couldn't do before, like what I mentioned with strength. It changes a lot of aspects of your life outside of, again, that physical change. So, small, consistent habits build a stronger identity over time. So, it's about building small, sustainable, consistent habits. And like what I mentioned, when you're getting started in a routine, you do not have to feel like you have to do an hour and 30-minute workout and have your nutrition perfect. That's not how it works. When you're getting started, all you have to do is start with the basics. You do not have to feel like you have to have everything all together all at once. And that's another way, or another thing I always like to say, when it comes to results and when it comes to getting started, is that it doesn't have to be complicated. Make it as simple as possible when you get started. Your routine just needs to be able to be sustainable and for you to be able to continue to show up for it. So, the next point I want to mention, and this is the last major point I'll discuss before I end off today. So, the confidence effect. So, the confidence effect in how strength training changes more than your body. So, confidence is built through repeated action and not instant perfection. So, when you're getting started and when you're again developing your routine, it takes time to build that confidence. Of course, you're naturally going to be basically not confident in your routine when you get started. But as you continue to show up, again with that consistency and that repeated action, it is going to lead for you to see that progress. So every completed workout is going to reinforce that self-trust and that personal discipline. And that's what matters the most. So physical strength, again, often creates emotional and mental resilience. So again, you're not just really increasing, building your physical impairments, you're building your mental and emotional, again, resilience at the same time. Progress in fitness teaches patience, consistency, belief, in the long-term growth. So again, that's another part of it that goes into the same aspect of your mindset of, again, that resilience that you have. So small victories inside the gym often improve confidence outside the gym. So the more that you focus on those small, consistent victories, the more it is going to add up to the results that you really are wanting to see in the gym. So again, see each day as a chance for you to make smaller progress towards that end goal that you're trying to accomplish. So that is pretty much all that I have for you guys today. That's the last slide that I have on here. But I do really appreciate you guys for, of course, taking the time to check out the stream here today. I do again want to share my website before I do end off here. I know that I did show it at the beginning of the stream, but I do want to mention it here as well. So if you're interested in learning about what I have to offer, I do have a website again, it's bponlinefitness.com. There is a ton of information on here related to online fitness coaching, and I do have free resources that you can check out as well. I do always try to keep this updated and, of course, keep it current to where all the latest information is on here. Again, what I have to offer, any of the live streams that I do, my fitness blog that I upload to. Again, there's a ton of information on here. So definitely check it out if it's something you're interested in. And again, all you have to do to, get started with a consultation with me, again, a free consultation, you just click the join the team button and go through and fill out the form that is there. I do have some social media links here too if you want to check those out. But again, guys, thank you for your time. I really hope that found this helpful and valuable. Again, as it comes to fitness and being able to build that confidence and focusing again on fitness being an extension to your life and not just something you feel like has to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect when you start out. All you need to do is focus on being consistent and being disciplined and seeing outside of the physical appearance and again, focusing on building your overall mental strength, resilience outside of that physical appearance. Again, just keep that in mind. But thank you guys once again for watching. That's all I have for you guys today. I will have another live stream next Thursday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, where I'll be discussing another, of course, topic there. So topic here on YouTube. So definitely check that out. I will have the video up, or the thumbnail, I should say, where you can, of course, click the notify me button on there and you'll get notified when I go live. But it'll be at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time next Thursday. I'll have that up for you guys to watch for when that does come up. But thank you guys once again, and I will see you guys next Thursday in the next live stream. So thank you guys once again for watching.